In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions from the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe. Agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276 or YouTube Livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future.
Hello and welcome everyone to today's episode of Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow. Here we promote smart solutions for a greener harvest. My name is Esther Etefia, your host. Remember, this is a media for the Agricultural Development Project of the GSA Initiative, that is the Growth for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative, an NGO committed to supporting African farmers through sustainable, innovative and profitable agricultural practices. Now today's topic sounds like a simple one, but is actually at the heart of Nigeria's food economy. And it is who really controls Nigeria's food system? The farmers, markets, or the middlemen? At a first glance, it's very easy to just say it is the farmers because we see them visibly produce everything. But in reality, agriculture does not end at the farm gate, because between the farm and the final consumers, there is an entire system, an entire value chain of aggregators, transporters, wholesalers, retailers, storage operators, and market intermediaries. So the aggregators are the ones in charge of gathering the seed inputs from the farms in the rural areas and distributing them to the urban areas and different parts of the country that needs this crop. And the transporters, as we know, take the crop from the rural areas down to the urban areas. The wholesalers are the ones who buy this crop in bulk, and the storage operators are just essentially concerned with storing these crops for sale. And all of them influence how food moves, and most importantly, how much it costs. So today, we are asking a very important question. If food is expensive, where exactly is the pressure coming from? Let us analyze. Let's start from the farmers. The farmers visibly do the work. They do most of the work, from planting, weeding, spraying, and harvesting. But after harvest, things become more complicated. Well, this is because many farmers do not sell directly to the final consumers. They sell at the farm gate level. The farm gate level is the price that you get directly from the farms. And they sell this often under pressure. This is the reality of many Nigerians who are into farming. Because after harvest, they produce in bulk, but they have issues with lack of storage, urgent need for cash, probably for the family and for other expenses, transportation difficulty due to the bad roads, insecurity on the roads now, or market uncertainty. They sell quickly to avoid the fluctuations in the price of their commodities. And sometimes they sell cheaply due to this pressure. Meanwhile, by the time the crop reaches the city, the market, the price has increased significantly. And when we hear the price, eventually there's a big disparity between the cost from the farm and at the market gates. So the question becomes, who really is benefiting from the gap? It's very easy for us to point fingers to the middlemen because apparently they are the ones who are the intermediary between the farmers and the markets. But let us first see the role they play. They move this produce from the farms. Like we said, they aggregate small farm outputs. They also take risks in transporting these crops from the farm to the urban areas and to different locations in Nigeria. They supply the urban markets. And the truth is that without them, food distribution would actually break down in many places. So what is the challenge? The challenge is imbalance. An imbalance where farmers earn too little, consumers pay too much, and the intermediaries capture too large a margin. So there is no proper structure on the regulatory bodies that would look at the pricing and determine the percentage of profit that should be made through this value chain down to the consumer's plate. The system becomes very inefficient, and the inefficiency is what Nigerians see every day in food prices. Sometimes we look at the food system in Nigeria as a negotiation. Many people say that the food becomes a negotiation committee of its own, because one week it is affordable and the next it becomes a luxury. But behind that joke is a very serious economical structure problem. So the real issue is not just production, it is a real challenge, because agriculture is not just about producing food. The value system has to be in place. It has to be done properly for efficiency and fair profit and earning. And we have to look at the storage, transportation, processing, market access, pricing structure, and just to name a few. Because agriculture today is not just about farming. It is the food system of the economy. It is also a matter of national food security. And whoever controls the stronger part of the value chain is who often influences the pricing, availability, and profit distribution. So now we've seen all the challenges that comes with food pricing and how it affects the farmers and the consumers. So what is the solution to this problem? Well, we're going to look at the possible solutions to this problem after the break. Stay tuned, and when we come back, we'll get right into it. Thank you.
In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions from the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe. Agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276, or YouTube Livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future.
Welcome back from the break. Thank you for staying tuned. So now let's move on directly to the solutions, because I know that we've been waiting for that. What actually is being done in Nigeria to address this gap? First, let's look at what the federal government is doing in the value chain and food system reform. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has recently intensified efforts around food system transformation and value chain development. The focus is on improving the market linkages between the farmers and the buyers, thereby reducing post-harvest inefficiencies and strengthening food supply systems. In short terms, it's just simply reducing the distance from the farms to the consumers, physically and economically. So when this is put in place, definitely the distance and the many intermediaries that have to be in the value chain up until the consumers will be reduced. So the chain link will be cut short, and the pricing will be fairer for both the farmers and the consumers. Also, we look at agro-processing expansions. That is the AFDB supported initiatives, which is through the African Development Bank supported programs that are concerned with expanding agro-processing zones and industrial clusters. What this does is very important, because instead of moving the food along distances, processing happens closer to production areas. That means there's less spoilage, lower transport pressure, and more stable pricing. Because once the value chain is added and is shortened closer to the farm to market inflation gap reduces. So most consumers can just directly buy from the farmers, or at least just maybe one or two steps in the intermediary between the farmers and the consumers. We also look at agricultural inputs and market stabilization policies. Recently, Nigeria has also taken steps to reduce pressure on food prices through targeted interventions. We've also been able to they've also been able to look at adjusting import duties on selected food items and agricultural inputs and support supply chain stability through price shocks. So the government has put in a lot of programs and initiatives to reduce the shock on the fluctuations between the pricing from the farmers to the consumers. And this is usually what has been done for a long time, but it is just a short-term stability strategy, because for it to become long-term and permanent and for us to see visible changes, it has to do with more interventions, more implementation plans, and a lot of strategic planning. So basically, the government is trying to reduce the pressure, immediate pressure, while long-term production systems are strengthened. We also have the private sector and agribusiness financing growth. This is another major shift that we are seeing in the private sector. The private sector is becoming more involved in financing from the banks, the fintechs, and agribusiness platforms. They are now all investing in farmer financing, aggregation systems, storage infrastructure, and supply chain logistics. Because without financing, all of what we said will not be possible. Financing is being made better by the private sector and their involvement to ensure that the farmers have more access to storage facilities, also are able to provide direct linkage from the farmers directly to the consumers through what we call the digital agricultural apps now that help to link the markets to the farmers directly. This is important because the production system will collapse without financing after the harvest. Development partners and value chain supports are also making headway from the international partners, from development agencies that are also supporting Nigeria through agricultural transportation programs, intervention programs, climate smart agriculture initiatives, the value chain strengthening projects, and so much more. So the focus is not just in production anymore, but system efficiency. When all this is combined, what do we see? We see improvement, efficiency in the pricing. We do not have to wonder anymore who is inflating this price, who is involved in making the profit margin so minimal for the farmers and so high for the consumers, making food affordability a problem. Nigeria is trying to fix the food system from multiple angles that we've seen, from government reforms, private sector investment, development support, agro-processing expansion. But the real question still remains, are all these efforts already strong enough to significantly reduce food price gaps from farm to plate? For young people and agribusinesses that are also key players in this sector, this is a very important discussion, because a lot of people just see the farming as production and are looking for opportunities to partake in the agricultural sector. This is a very clear indication of where there is limited inflow of the young people and agribusinesses, and they can actually tune in and key into the value chain improvements, because modern agriculture is no longer about farming. It includes a whole lot of things, from logistic businesses to food processing, storage solutions, agro trading, supply chain tech, market platforms. So the young agriculture business moguls can key into this and ensure that there are, into one of the segments, it could be storage solutions, food processing, packaging, and linkage for market platforms between the farmers and consumers. And this is also a way to make profit in the agricultural sector. In fact, some of the biggest profits in agriculture are not at production level. The production level is the most tedious level, which involves, like we said, the weeding, the planting, the spraying, having to deal with climate changes and a lot of inconsistencies. But the major profit comes between production and consumption. That long value chain is where the profit is made. So the real opportunity is no longer just to grow food, but it is also how to move it, how to store it, how to process it, and connect it efficiently. So at the end of the day, the question remains whether farmers can absolutely make profits and if they matter. But they do. The farmers actually matter because without producing these crops, there will be no value chain in the first place. So the real issue is how to balance the entire food system. We've seen that it is a long chain from the farming to transportation, aggregators, distribution, pricing, storage, market accessibility, and so much more. Because a very strong food system is one where farmers are profitable, the markets are efficient, intermediaries are fair. There is no ridiculous profit margin that is made by multiple intermediaries rather than the farmers making the profit for the hard work that they have done. And also consumers are able to afford this crop from farm to plate. So this is where the balance should begin, and this is where Nigeria continues to work towards to make a better food system efficient. This has been it on Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow. Remember, this is a media for the Agricultural Development Project of the GSA initiative. My name is Esther Itifia, and thank you for joining in.
In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative and powered by smart solutions from the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe. Agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276 or YouTube livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas empowering farmers and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future.